I would like to do the sexy pick here and just continue to, graze Cam Schlittler. Um, 11 and 2/3 innings pitched, delayed spring start with the back inflammation or the lat, whatever it was. He's only given up 3 hits, Rob. 15 strikeouts. Does he have a walk? Has not walked or hit a batter. He has a 0.60 FIP and a 0 ERA. 11 and 2/3 innings pitched, no runs, 3 hits, 15 Ks, no walks. It's pretty stupid. Pretty stupid. He's 25, Rob. I'm 27. Blows my mind a little bit. Um, so very cool to see, especially with, the state of the Yankees pitching staff at the moment. They're waiting on Rodon, who had like a weird hamstring report the other day, waiting on Cole. It was pretty important that, a couple guys came out, not just being Max Fried, and like took an established role and was not going to be like a liability in the rotation. And Cam just built off of the exact thing exactly where he left us off last year, which is just being a stud. So I'm going to give it to Cam Schlittler because he's giving you length with under 75 pitches besides yesterday too. What did he throw? I say 77 or 79 or something.
Yeah.
So it's got to be Cam Schlittler. But shout out. Go ahead.
No. Shout out.
I was gonna say shout out Ben Rice and shout out Max Fried as well.
I think we're in a realistic world, and I know it's overreaction time, and that's what we do to start
he's
the
getting
season.
Young, folks.
I really believe that Cam Schlittler, and I texted this to you, I think there's a world where Cam Schlittler, we're having a realistic debate that guy should be the second starter in a playoff series. And yes,
I mean, you could go as far as the first. I mean, if all this continues, I mean, there's really not much to argue there.
I mean, from what we've seen so far, and clearly it's been from last year, I think in June or July when he first came up to the team, and then when you see that playoff start in Boston, and even his playoff start against Toronto, which was very respectable, clearly not exactly what we wanted.
Struggled, but was good though.
Was still good, and I think that from what we've seen on a limited pitch count for Cam Schlittler of him just ramping up and these first 2 starts being as good as he's been. I think that there's a realistic world where if he continues to stack starts like these, maybe not necessarily as good, but if he's putting together this kind of resume and putting together starts like this, we're having a real conversation that he's not just the 4th or 5th starter, that if you're pitching like this, you're going to be bumped up past Rodon. You're going to be bumped up past Fried. And Fried pitched amazing. I'm not discounting that.
I mean, Fried's been a stud. Yeah.
And he has
in
been
the regular
stud.
season.
And if you want to go off last year, and I know I'm getting way ahead of myself and when it comes to playoffs, and if you're having that conversation, I think it's a realistic debate to be had that Cam Schlittler is a guy that you slot in at the top of the rotation for a playoff series.
Yeah.
He is that, and I haven't even we've just touched on the numbers, but he brings an element of confidence, swagger, and he's delivered on it. He talks shit and he cashes on it. So
that is true.
That is a big element in the way Yankee fans should feel about Cam Schlittler and how he would fit in the rotation. And again, too, we've seen the Yankees more recently have stud pitching prospects come up, and we it could be Luis Severino, more recently Luis Heel, and we've seen Clark Schmidt be good. Will Warren is good. And I think, though, watching Cam Schlittler, I think it's a little bit different. I think he's been
he's a stud. There's good, and then he's been
there's a level of difference between him and those other guys. And I think that the Yankees traditionally, we know recently they've had these better pitching prospects, but when you think of the better Yankee teams in the last 2 decades, it's been pitchers that they've paid that have come from elsewhere and haven't been homegrown. You think of Garrett Cole most recently, or Carlos Rodon, Max Fried. They're all signed free agents. But then if the Yankees can grow and have a starter from their system to be that good, and you even mentioned it, how his numbers are for the first starts of his career are inching on like Paul Skeens' ability. I mean, that's
it's
ridiculous.
It's not even the tiniest sample size. I mean, in his career, Rob, which obviously dates back to last summer or whatever.
I was
I
at
mean,
his first start. It was a great start.
were you really?
Yeah, I went with
Damn, I
some
did
work
not.
people.
That's pretty cool, honestly. Um, I mean, he's thrown 84 innings. I mean, 84 innings, and he has a 2.55 ERA. 99 strikeouts in 84 innings. I mean, 162 ERA plus. I mean, you're talking about a 200 strikeout, guy for the year.
Hmm.
This is why, like, I'm just so pumped to like see what Schlittler does for the year. Like Schlittler probably could have thrown a complete game yesterday if it
Hmm.
wasn't on a pitch count.
Yep.
Um, it's very exciting, Rob. I mean, I think us and all Yankee fans are totally um, just all in
Hmm.
on Cam Schlittler.